All right, the meeting of the Board of Regents of the Texas Tech University System is now called to order. The board will continue in open session and meet as a committee of the whole and meeting of the board. But before we begin with our usual introductions and recognitions, I want to take a moment to remember one of our own Board of Regents who passed away this week. Charles Robert Black was a member of the Board of Regents from 2001 to 2007. He served as board chair during 2003 and 2004. But first and foremost, Bob Black was a Texas Tech Red Raider through and through for 65 years. He was a petroleum engineering student. Bob managed to graduate as a member of the Engineering Honor Society while having been heavily involved in saddle tramps and as a Fiji. Texas Tech prepared him well for his 42 years with Texaco, which took him from his start as a field engineer all the way to serving as the senior vice president over Texaco's worldwide oil and gas producing operations. Texas Tech could not have asked for a finer representative or a more faithful servant. We join his wife Billy and their children and grandchildren in celebrating all Bob gave us during a time that was truly well lived. Rick Francis, before we have a moment of silence, I know you served with him on the Board of Regents, so if you'd like to make a comment or two.
Well, it's certainly my honor and my pleasure to serve with Bob. He was, as our chairman has said, a mentor to many of us. He was the chair when I first came on the board in 2003. There was a group of us, and at one time, 8 of us got confirmed at once. Bob was the only member of the Board of Regents at that time. And he was like a father figure to us. A very accomplished man, chairman of the Metropolitan Museum in New York, and he brought a set of skills that really led us, and have many memories of him and Billy, the time we had together. So,
yeah, thank you wonderful, very much, Rick, for those personal comments. So join me in a moment of silence as we honor the memory of a true friend and a loyal Red Raider. All right, thank you very much for participating in that. So let's start with our introductions. Chancellor and President Mitchell, President May, Skuvenek, and Lang, please present your introductions and recognitions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any introductions, but each of you have in your chair a book, a biography of Winston Churchill, and as Regent Walker pointed out, this is the 1004th biography. So it's the authoritative biography on Winston Churchill. You know, the fellow that wrote it, Andrew Roberts, was doing a tour of the United States, and he made a pass through West Texas, and we had an event with him, and he's a charming guy. And he's actually just recently been given access to King George VI's diaries from World War II. Queen Elizabeth gave him access. He's the first person that's had access to those personal diaries, which include all of the conversations that King George was having with Churchill during the war. So it's a delightful man. This book is outstanding. I'm a couple of hundred pages into it. It's pretty meaty, but it's a great book. So this is with compliments.
Thank you very much for that. We'll enjoy that. All right, President Skuvenek.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I have 4 introductions today. The first of those is Dr. Cindy Simon. Dr. Simon is a Horn professor, and she is chair of the Department of Chemical Engineering in the Whitaker College of Engineering, and she was recently named the recipient of the 2019 International Award from the Society of Plastics Engineers. She is the first female in the Society's 40-year history to receive this honor. The International Award is the highest award offered by the Society of Plastics Engineers and recognizes lifetime achievement in the field of polymer science. Congratulations, Cindy. Next, I'd like to introduce Travis Buffy. Travis Buffy is a senior offensive lineman with the Texas Tech football program and was recently named one of 3 Big 12 student athletes to represent the conference and his peers at the NCAA Autonomy Convention. The Autonomy group refers to the 65 schools that are in the Power 5 conference. At the convention, Travis was one of 15 student athletes selected nationally to vote on important NCAA legislation that is designed to improve the overall student athlete experience. Travis is the president of the Texas Tech Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and he is a stellar student. Congratulations and thank you, Travis.
He's also very humble. I went over and introduced myself and said, "What are you here for today?" And he said, "Oh, I'm not really sure. I didn't do much." So.
I can tell you he's a most impressive young man. Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Eric Hackey, who is the chairman and the J.A. Love Endowed Chair for Sustainable Agriculture in the Department of Plant and Soil Science in the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. He is an internationally recognized cotton science researcher and was recently selected by the Joint Cotton Breeding Committee as the recipient of the very prestigious Cotton Genetics Research Award. This is an award that was established in 1961 by U.S. commercial cotton breeders. Dr. Hackey has been very involved internationally and collaboratively and has been involved in the improvement of 21 germplasm lines and 2 cultivars. And he also played a critical role in the recruitment last summer of Dr. Luis Hirawa Estrella, who was our first National Academy of Sciences member. Thank you and congratulations, Eric. And finally, I would recognize Dr. John Schroeder. He has recently been named as the Senior Director of the National Wind Institute, a role he previously served in from 2010 to 2014 when he was the founding director. John is a distinguished scientist and researcher. He's obtained more than $25 million in grants and contracts, but today we're recognizing him for his leadership and administrative skills in charge of NWI, which has an international reputation in a variety of areas that range from wind turbine research, damage mitigation, and oversees the West Texas Mesonet, which provides meteorological observations from 115 stations distributed across West Texas and serving 74 counties. John, thank you for coming back to take on this important administrative role.
All right, thank you, Dr. Skubanek. Dr. Lane.
Yes, sir. I'd like to take the privilege of introducing Dr. Stephanie Woods, the Dean of the Gail Grieve Hunt School of Nursing. She's not new to the position. She's been there since July. She's just been so busy, this is her first trip to Lubbock. She was rescued from being the Associate Dean of Nursing at the Texas Women's University Dallas campus. But she's held previous faculty positions at the University of Texas Health Science Center San Antonio, where I previously worked, and the University of Incarnate Word as well. She received her undergraduate degree at TWU, her master's at University of Texas Health Science Center in San Antonio, and her PhD, University of Texas at Austin. She was in Dallas for a long period of time. She's recognized with over 35 years of nursing experience and in the critical care and cardiology part of that. But what she was really known is for her leadership. She's the only nurse that I'm aware of that served on the board of managers of both Texas Health Resources Presbyterian Hospital. And after that was moved to the Parkland board. They recruited her. And Steffi, were you the first nurse ever on the Parkland board? And so she's an outstanding leader. We feel very fortunate to have her in Dallas. In El Paso. Move her from Dallas to El Paso. And then a special shout out to Michael Evans, who threw a reception for Stephanie last night here on this campus so that all the nursing leaders here and around the regional campus, it's another sign of just what we as health science centers do working together. So special thanks to Michael Evans, but I wanted you all to meet Stephanie in person. Thank you.
I don't have any, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, also we have Dana Jennings. Raise your hand. Where is she? This is her last day. Dana is moving back home to Arlington. She has 2 degrees from Texas Tech. She's worked in our communications department, and she will be the Assistant Director for Communications Research at UT Arlington. This is her last day with us.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, thank thank you all for those introductions. Those are really one of our favorite things to hear because we get to hear a little bit more about what makes Texas Tech so great and the people that are here and serve. So thank you all for what you've done, and thank you all for your leadership. All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the board meeting held on December 13th and 14th, 2018?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. We will now consider items as a committee of the whole, and I would ask the vice chairman to preside over the committee of the whole, Mr. Huckabee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The item is consideration of the consent agenda, items A through K, as listed in pages 1 through 20 of the agenda book, and information agenda as listed in pages 19 through 23. Is there any discussion of the items either on the consent or information agenda? Okay. As a reminder, if there are any items that you would like for discussed further in detail or voted on separately from the consent agenda, you may request that these items be moved from the to the committee of the whole. Mr. Chairman, I move that the board approve the consent agenda and acknowledge that its review of the information agenda.
Is there a second? Thank you, John. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the items to be considered by the committee of the whole at this time.
All right, thank you, Regent Huckabee. The board will continue meeting in open session to consider reports of the standing committees. Regent Walker, will you present the items considered for action by the Academic, Clinical, and Student Affairs Committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Academic, Clinical, and Student Affairs Committee of the board met in open session on Thursday, February 21st, 2019 to consider items 1 through 16 as presented on pages ACS 1 through ACS 24 of the agenda book. I request that all items be considered and approved as a group.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the report of the Academic, Clinical, and Student Affairs Committee.
All right, thank you, Regent Walker. Regent Long, will you present the items considered for action by the Audit Committee?
Mr. Chairman, the Audit Committee of the Board met in open session on Thursday, February 21st, 2019, and considered items 1 as presented on page A1 through A3 of the agenda book. I request the following report be considered and approved. Item 1, Mr. Chairman, the presentation of items was item 1, report on audits. Mr. Chairman, the Audit Committee also convened in the executive session, at which time there were no action items were considered or approved. Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends approval of the items as presented, and I so move.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the report of the Audit Committee.
Thank you, Regent Long. Regent Esparza, will you present the items considered for action by the Facilities Committee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Facilities Committee of the Board met in open session on Thursday, February the 21st, 2019, and considered items 1 through 6 as presented on pages F1 through F12 of the agenda book. I request the following items be considered and approved as a group. Item 1, Angelo State University. Authorize expenditures for the Angelo State University Mayor Museum project as amended. Item 2, TTU. Approve budget increase for the Experimental Science Building 2. Item 3, TTU, authorize expenditures for Dairy Barn renovation project. Item 4, TTU Health Science Center El Paso, approve concept and preliminary budget for the Dental Oral Health Clinic in El Paso, Texas. Item 5, TTU Health Science Center El Paso, approve amendment to the lease agreement in El Paso. The committee also accepted the following report, which is item number 6, TTU University System, report on facilities planning and construction projects. Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends approval for the items as presented, and I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Esparza. Regent Huckabee, please present the items considered for action by the Finance and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Administration Committee of the Board met in open session on Thursday, February 21st, 2019, to consider items 1 through 3 as presented in pages FA1 through FA5 of the agenda book. I request that the following items be considered and approved. Item 1, Texas Tech University System, authorize the Chancellor to execute a contract with South Plains Communication and Motorola. The committee also accepted the following reports: Texas Tech University System fiscal year 2018 combined annual financial reports, and item 3, Texas Tech University System update on the 86th legislature. Mr. Chairman, the committee recommends approval of the items as presented, and I so move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Chairman, this concludes the report of the Finance and Administration Committee.
Thank you, Regent Huckabee. We will continue meeting as the Committee of the Whole and meeting of the Board. Ben, please present the schedule of upcoming board meetings.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There are no changes to the schedule that we have at this time. At the next regularly scheduled board meeting, which is in 3 months, the board will need to look at setting a schedule for 2020.
Already?
Yes.
All right.
It keeps rolling on.
All right, thank you, Ben. Next, we'll hear from our Student Government President, Shana Mullen. Would you like to present the SGA report for Angelo State?
Yes. Hi, how's everyone doing today? Today with me, I have my Vice President, Braden Woods, who y'all are familiar with, and then I brought Secretary Cody Kretschmer, and then I have one of our senators and the committee chair of the Public Relations Committee that we have, Daniela Favila. So today, I promise I won't take too much of y'all's time. I'm just going to go briefly over what we're doing this semester and then focus a little bit more on the HPV event that I talked about last time, that's going to be taking place in the next couple weeks. So we have our legislative trip to Austin, March 4th through the 5th. We have senators that are going to go and lobby on behalf of ASU and just kind of experience what's going on down there. We're joining with Tech, who's going on the same day. Our student discount program is growing. Students can now access it on our ASU mobile app. So there's a little link that they can go to, and it's just a good opportunity for them to save any kind of money because, broke college students need any help that they can get. And Safety Week, who was spearheaded by my VP, Braden, was actually this week. We partnered with Communications and Marketing and then our Safety and Risk Management and our UPD to kind of emphasize safety and awareness on campus and, see something, say something. Just kind of letting students know that if you see anything kind of unusual or anything like that, we are a very safe campus, but you never know. Just kind of report it and everything like that. It was just a week to shed light on that issue, and it was very successful. Our Rammies is April 25th. That's always such a fun event that happens in the spring, and we're very excited for that. Our student endowment fundraising is going great, and we're about to start accepting applications for students to receive the scholarship at the Rammies, and we plan on passing out, I think, 2 scholarships this year instead of just 1. RA Appreciation Week was the 2nd week of February. That's just us showing, as a student government and as a school, letting the RAs know that we do appreciate that the hard work that they put in, because that is a 24/7 job when you're in a residence hall. You're on call all the time, and the training you have to go through and everything like that, we just want them to know that they're appreciated. And then finally, our HPV vaccination event is March 4th. So like I talked about last time, we are partnering with the Concho Valley County Medical Society, Dr. Caballero and Shannon, to put on an HPV vaccination event. HPV is the most common sexually transmitted virus, and it affects over 79 million Americans, and it can lead to cancer later on in life. You typically need about 3 doses of the vaccine, and it's extremely expensive. It's over $200 a dose. So students, especially in Texas and especially rural Texas, don't have the HPV vaccine, which is a huge problem. But this year, our goal was to administer over 100 vaccines through donated money, but through various donors, through ASU, through Shannon, through the state, we were able to obtain over 150 vaccines free of charge for the students. So not only during the event can students come and get a vaccine and fill out the paperwork needed to get so, but they can go for their 2nd or their 3rd dose at our ASU clinic. So that's something that we are extremely grateful for. We also plan on educating for the vaccines, just letting students know what it does, what is HPV, because not a whole lot of people know. and why you should look into getting the vaccine if you haven't had it already. We're showing a documentary called Someone You Love, the HPV Epidemic on campus, and professors are providing extra credit for students to come and watch it. So hopefully that's going to be such a good turnout, and I'm really excited for the HPV event, which is where I'll be March 4th. Sadly, I won't be on the legislative trip because one of us had to stay behind to help with the HPV event. So Braden will be in Austin on behalf of SGA and our other senators. That's just an update on what SGA is doing this year, and I can't thank y'all enough. And that's all I have for y'all.
All right, Shana, thank you very much. Good report. You, Shana. Sean Lewis, please present the SGA report for Texas Tech.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Forgot I actually had to click this. So we have a few updates for you all for this upcoming, what we've been working on for the upcoming months. So we are going down to Washington, D.C. tomorrow, actually, to host Big 12 on the Hill, and that is when all 10 universities in the Big 12 go to Washington, D.C. to advocate for the legislative priorities of the Big 12 that we, as a conference, came up with at our Big 12 conference in Kansas City. So we're talking about mental health, college affordability, access to preventative measures for sexual assault and things of that nature. So we're really excited to host the Big 12 in Washington, D.C. Christina Butts has been very helpful to us, and Jennifer Brown has been very helpful to us in helping us plan this, making sure that the event is successful. In addition to what Shanda said, we will also travel down to Austin for Texas Tech University Systems Day and talking about, as well as the strategic priorities as set by Chancellor Mitchell, talking about open educational resource, which is something that our graduate vice president, John Michael Getz, has been strongly advocating for on our campus and around the system, and finding a way that we can get textbooks to our students at a lower cost while also not decreasing the quality of information that is provided to them. So this past Saturday, we partnered with departments on campus, Texas Tech alumni, to host a basketball tailgate outside of the student entrance of the United Spirit Arena. And it was a great event. We had over 200 people show up, alumni, students, faculty, and staff. And this was not only a way for students to have fun before the game, but this is really aimed to get students into the arena for them to have a good time, to cheer on our athletic team and our basketball team to ensure that we have successful wins in the arena. So it was a great opportunity for our Red Raider community to come together and get behind our basketball team.
Sean?
Yes.
How many times has Mr. Fuller been held back?
He's been very helpful.
We were just discussing that.
Yeah. I tell you, he's been very helpful. So we're also talking about a baseball event too. So we got to see the bus and everything. Nice bus. On student wellness, this has been something that we've talked about throughout my term in student government and helping our students cope and to be successful. So our internal vice president, Amber Ackley, has led the charge for a campus-wide food drive that is going on right now. So if anyone wants to go donate, there are bins set up in each of the academic colleges around the university. All of the food and all of the items collected will go to Raider Red's Food Pantry, which is located at Doak Hall on our campus. And this is a way that we can get tech students helping out tech students, so we can get as much food in the pantry to help out those who need it the most. We're excited, and we're going to make this an annual event that we'll do every single year to help out our own. In addition to that, at previous board meetings, I've talked about graduate or mental health, but particularly among graduate students, considering that they are some of the ones that are affected by it the most. So we've partnered with the Graduate Assembly, the the Wellness Center at Texas Tech University to put on a number of informational events and fun events with free food that teaches students how to cope with different stresses, different things that they may encounter as students on campus and as graduate students. So we've had a few already. They've been widely successful. And I believe that next year, the student body president and the graduate assembly president and the graduate vice president will continue to host those events. Then I have a video that I want to show you. We filmed a semester update video that we shared with the student body. This isn't just a still shot of my model walk, but I'll explain a little bit more after you see the video. While campaigning last year, we made some big promises, and we're working every day to keep them. We've worked hard to ensure your honors are read aloud and recognized at commencement ceremonies, laid the foundation for basketball tailgates, and helped implement alcohol sales at athletic events to combat binge drinking and lower food prices.
Students who don't have vehicles can now utilize Zipcar to get around town and Raider Ride to get to and from campus. Additionally, we've partnered with Lime Bike and Scooter to make your commute across campus fast and affordable.
We ensured the student senators are involved within the tech community by implementing a Title IX training for all senators. We also implemented a campus-wide food drive to fight food insecurity.
We increased student organization funding so that all groups have the resources to thrive. We implemented Wellness Month and initiatives like graduate student guided relaxation to increase and improve your well-being.
We've gotten a lot done, and we're just getting started. So that's not just my vanity project, but, and we really don't need that much exercise. We're walking a lot in that video. But the video was aimed at letting the students know what we've been working on throughout the year. And to take a line from Coach Matt Wells, this is really a We, Us, Our program. And that is a testament to President Skuvanek and his team, Noelle Sloan and her team, Mike Gallion and his team, Sean Childers, who've been helping us and been partners with us to get some of these things done to enhance the Red Raider experience for our students and to ensure that the quality of education and campus experience is second to none around the nation. So I appreciate the help that we've had in working with student government to get those things done. Well, I'm trying to play it again for you guys. So with that being said, I'll take any questions, and if not, I have just one more thing I'd like to say. Perfect.
You had much response on the video that you done?
We did. We were very proud of that. We've got, I think, over 11,000 views on Facebook right now, and that's organic reach, and we're looking to pay for some boost on social media this upcoming week. And the students have responded well to that because a lot of the times they say, "Oh yeah, you guys don't do anything. You just sit in your offices and pontificate all the time." But they've been happy to see what we've been working on.
Very nice job.
Thank you, thank you. And as a point of personal privilege, I'd like to say thank you. As this is my last meeting as student body president before my term expires, I want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to present to you at every single board meeting and share with you the success of our students at Texas Tech University and to present on behalf of the greatest system in the country. So I thank you for this opportunity. It's been an honor of my life. Thank you,
Sean.
All right, Sean, thank you, and good luck to you and your next chapter. All right, Brooke Walters-Scheid, would you present your report for the Health Science Center? How was that? Close?
It was excellent.
Okay,
I'm
good.
very proud of you, sir. We've come a long way.
A long way.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thank you again for the opportunity to present to you today. So I just wanted to remind you all of the 4 main goals that we had for the year. I'll be rehashing what we've done in support of those goals throughout my presentation. So first, we wanted to enhance SGA's visibility to students and faculty. On Valentine's Day, we held kind of a cheesy lunch event. Yes, pizza, cheesy, I know it's corny, but it worked. So we were hoping to meet with about 150 students over the course of a 2-hour lunch period. We had 175 students in 45 minutes, so to say it was a success would be an understatement. So in addition to that, we wanted to just meet with students, talk to them, encourage them to follow us on social media so that they could be in contact with us and what we're working on, just talk with their senators about any needs or issues that they are seeing. But we wanted to combine some service component to that as well. So we wrote Valentine's Day cards to the kindergarten and pre-K students at Bayless Elementary. For those of you who don't know, Bayless Elementary is a Title I school here in Lubbock, meaning that 100% of their students are deemed at risk. So they don't always get to have, say, a Valentine's Day party or holiday parties in general. So they were very, very thankful to us for reaching out to them. Next, another way that we are enhancing our visibility is by working with our safety committee to provide a Stop the Bleed training to faculty, staff, and students. And so we've been mainly working on how to disseminate this information to students. So our chief safety person for SGA, Chris Riggs, has really been a proponent for this cause. And we are hoping to provide tourniquet kits in all of our AED devices. So this training would provide students with the knowledge of how to pack wounds, apply tourniquets in the event of some violent action happening on campus. So it's just another way of providing our students with the best possible training to be safe in any possible situation. So we're very excited with that. Next, we've been working on fundraising for our scholarship causes. So last week, we allocated $76,000 in scholarships to go to about 100 different students who are very excited about that. And with these two fundraisers, we put an additional $1,500 into that budget. So we did a give back night at IHOP with pancakes, and then we did a t-shirt fundraiser, and this shirt was actually designed by one of our SGA senators, so we're very excited about that. Next, we've been working on renovating the Synergistic Center. I'm meeting with our interior designer next week to finalize our final layout so that these renovations can finally happen. Yes, just at the end of my term, finally following through on that. So we are excited to have these outlets in all of our tables. The chairs that have outlets are some prime real estate. Students will get there pretty early in the morning to claim those tables, and they won't leave them for the entire day because they cannot give up their outlets. So every table will be prime real estate by the time this is all said and done. And next, we've also been working on promoting a values-based culture among students. So we are meeting next week to discuss the creation of a student values-based culture field guide, so something that they can implement in their daily lives and their organizations on how to carry out values in their own actions. And also this semester, we passed legislation affirming SGA's dedication to integrating the T2HSC values. And we knew that this isn't something that really hasn't been put to students. It's mostly been concentrated to faculty and staff. And so we took it upon ourselves to be the first student group to really affirm these values in our actions. And so we are including the values in our pieces that we're writing, saying, this piece is in affirmation to this value. And even on some of our flyers, we're working on incorporating what value our events are in accordance with. So you can see here on this flyer, we say this event is in accordance with the T2HSC value of kind-hearted. So just a way that we are trying to have some continuity in integrating those values. And also, we are hoping to host a student town hall in April to discuss those values with students. And we have been working on leadership development amongst our senators. So just this past Tuesday, we hosted our joint Congress, which is an annual meeting where all of the system SGAs come together to pass legislation and hear updates. And so we heard updates from Dr. John Opperman, Dr. Carol Sumner, and Dr. Riel Rolfe. I'm representing the TTU system, and T2HSCs. We were very excited to hear from them and some of the work that they have been doing and how they want SGA to be involved to carry out their initiatives. We also passed two pieces of legislation from the entire system. Senate Resolution 0501 was regarding the availability of AEDs in campus housing, a very important risk mitigation issue. And also in Senate Resolution 0502 regarding human trafficking awareness and legislative action. So this is a piece that the HSC had written, and we passed similar pieces in our own SGA regarding recognizing the Lubbock County Medical Society on the work they are doing in combating human trafficking, as well as supporting the integration of human trafficking awareness into our curriculum, as it's something that we'll be seeing as future healthcare providers. So for Joint Congress, we kind of adapted the piece to discuss awareness within the community, as West Texas is very susceptible geographically to human trafficking, as well as college towns in general. And we also supported the Texas Commission on Human Trafficking's legislative agenda for the 86th session. It's a little tongue twister there. All right, and also our senators have served on committees for technology renovations, banner software improvement, and accreditation, so they really are being sought after within the university by administration because administration recognizes that their voices are impactful and are meaningful. And we'll also have new officer elections to be held April 10th, so likewise with Sean, this is my last meeting. Mr. Chairman, hopefully someone with an easier last name will be elected.
That would be the hope.
But I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to present to you and for the opportunity to represent the students of the T2HSC. It's been a real honor. I'll still be around after April 10th. I'll be kind of boarding myself up to prepare for the first part of my licensing exam. So once that's over, I'll reemerge. But just one last quick update. We also are excited to be working with the administration on the implementation of our quality enhancement plan, which is well beyond. We recognize that as students and as future healthcare providers, we cannot pour from an empty cup. So we cannot provide for patients if we're not first providing for ourselves. So it's something that we are very very much looking forward to supporting them in the upcoming months. And so with that, that is all I have for you all. Are there any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke, and good luck to you on your exams as you're doing that and everything else. So congratulations. All right, another difficult name for me, Sajid Leilani. How's that?
It's Sajid, but that was pretty much spot on. So
Okay, yeah.
I'll take it.
Other than the mispronunciation. So give us a report for TTU HSC El Paso.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So first, just wanted to talk about our MLK Junior Day of Service, which we held along with our Society Community Individual Program and as well as some other offices on campus. It was held on the Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we had 6 events across El Paso. And again, I know I mentioned this at the last meeting, but these are student-driven initiatives where we go to the communities and we ask them what we can do for them, and then we develop these initiatives and we go out and implement them. So it's really exciting for us students to be able to hear what the people in the community want or what they feel like they need help with, and then we can go and try and help them. So this was the biggest. I mean, we've only had it for a couple years, but again, we're continuing to grow, and so hopefully we can continue that in the future. These are just some pictures from some of the different events. We had some health fairs. We had like a get up and go type of day for kids combined with a health fair because we are a health sciences center. As well as it was really nice, we actually got recognized by an organization in El Paso, a veterans nonprofit, who's dedicated to serving veterans for our efforts in the northeast of El Paso, holding a health fair specific for veterans and targeting issues that are a little bit more prevalent in that community, such as mental health and alcoholism and that sort of thing. And then we're currently in the process of reviewing applications for our SGA scholarship. This is our first year doing that. We had our community, our finance and scholarship committee develop criteria for the scholarship, and so we're hoping that that's something that we can strongly establish this year and keep going into the future to help students as best as we can. And we're going to be recognizing those students that we choose at our student award, or our faculty, staff, and student awards, which is going to be held in April. And again, that's an exciting time for us students because we get to recognize the faculty and the staff that we feel go above and beyond, which begs the question, why hasn't Dr. Lang been recognized yet? But who knows? Maybe this year. Maybe this year.
I keep voting. I'm submitting my name, but nothing ever happens.
So that's an exciting thing for us that's coming up. And then lastly, we're going to be involved in the Sons Health Fair, which is a health fair created by the HSC El Paso, and SGA hosts a table, and there's a million tables dedicated to health stuff. So what we like to do is have a little table for the youth. We have kids come and make like goop with like cornstarch and stuff, and they'll put some glitter in it, and they have a good time. And then what we like to do is just sort of serve as liaisons for our school and the youth in the community, and try and talk to them about higher education and careers in the health sciences, and try and inspire some students in that sense. And that's for me. We will be having, last thing is we're going to be having our officer elections soon, just like everybody else. So I'll try and send somebody like Brooke with an easier name. But thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank each of you for those excellent reports and just your leadership and each one of what you're doing and all the other teams of people that help you. It's so exciting to see the great things that you're doing. So look forward to hearing more and what each of you are going to do in your personal lives too. So congratulations. All right, the board will now convene an executive session as authorized by sections 551071, 551072, 551073, and 551074 of the Texas Government Code. The board will now convene into open session. Mr. Huckabee, please present any motions that came out of items discussed in executive session.
Mr. Chairman, there are no action of any kind to be taken on any of the items posted for and discussed in an executive session.
All right, thank you, Regent Huckabee. Final item of business is announcements. Are there any announcements at this time? Anyone? If not, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting of the Board of Regents stands adjourned.